Last night, UK time, Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger took to video to make broad sweeping statements about Intel's course over the next couple or 3 years. Grandly titled Intel Unleashed Engineering the Future, he spelled out his Integrated Device Manufacturing or IDM 2.0 vision. I noted immediately this is a video cast. It wasn't even on YouTube, it's on Intel's own newsroom platform, which means not only can you not put comments below the video, you certainly cannot ask questions of Mr. Gelsinger. I'm going to read Intel's various statements from their news releases, I'll illustrate with their images, and I'll also interject with the occasional comment of my own. Intel announces manufacturing expansion plans, beginning with $20 billion investment to build 2 new fabs in Arizona. We know the US government is very keen to reshore technology. They have been for a few years. Under the new administration, this is certainly a direction of travel. Spending money on fabs in the US makes perfect sense. 20 billion for 2 fabs. Wowza. And that gives me my headline that Tock is not cheap. Intel 7nm process development progressing well with tape-in of 7nm compute tile for Meteor Lake expected in the second quarter of 2021. I must confess, tape in is a new expression to me. We've heard of tape out, which is when a design is complete and they're ready to start running wafers to see if it works or not. Tape in clearly is way ahead of that. So tape in for Meteor Lake is imminent. 7nm compute tile. Tile is Intel's version, as far as we can work out, of chiplet, which means they'll be gluing together components, as they so rudely said about AMD some years ago. 7nm? Well, hurrah! Long time coming. Intel also is announcing their foundry services with plans to become a major provider of foundry capacity in the US and Europe to serve customers globally. Okay. Well, Intel's tried that in the past, and the question is, who is going to be a customer for Intel foundries? We need to see details of this, but the grand sweeping Intel foundry services like, well, okay, who are your customers, what are the processes, and where's this coming from? Announcing plans for new research collaboration with IBM. Okay, what's that all about? Bringing the spirit of Intel Developer Forum event back this year with Intel Innovation event planned for October in San Francisco. What are the odds that Intel is going to fly a few hundred journos and others into San Francisco in October 2021? I'm going to say remote, and I'm talking from a country where our vaccine rollout's going pretty blooming well. I've had my first jab. About 50% of the adult population has had theirs, so by October I would be in a position to go to San Francisco. A lot of other nations will not be. I suspect this is going to be a virtual event. However, it is welcome that Intel is bringing back something like IDF. IDM2, so that's Integrated Device Manufacturing, represents the combination of 3 components that will enable the company to drive sustained technology and product leadership. Today, Gelsinger reaffirmed the company's expectation to continue manufacturing the majority of its products internally. The company's 7nm development is progressing well, driven by increased use of extreme ultraviolet lithography, EUV, in a re-architected, simplified process flow. Put it another way, 7nm wasn't working in the slightest well, and it's now working better, and they need EUV hardware, which is made by one company in the Netherlands, albeit a company that Intel has an investment in, as do all the other major silicon companies. So that's ASML in Eindhoven, and that's where TSMC's kit comes from. The idea that Intel can snap their fingers and get some EUV machines, not a chance. I don't know how long they've had the order in for, but 1 point of supply for EUV. Intel expects to tape in the compute tile for its first 7nm client CPU codenamed Meteor Lake in the second quarter of this year. Yep, just done that. In addition to process innovation. Process innovation? What process innovation? Intel's problem at the moment is attempting to make the processes work. 10nm? Disastrous. 7nm? Seems to be disastrous. Process innovation? No. That's not what it's all about. Intel's leadership in packaging technology. We're talking Foveros here. is an important differentiator that enables the combination of multiple IPs or tiles, so tiles not chiplets, to deliver uniquely tailored products that meet diverse customer requirements in a world of pervasive computing. Well, okay, I mean, it means they can put together all sorts of different things in different ways to create new products. Lakefield would be an example there. Expanded use of third-party foundry capacity. Well, let's face it, that's TSMC and possibly Samsung, but TSMC. Intel expects to build on its existing relationships with third-party foundries, which today manufacture a range of Intel technology, from communications and connectivity to graphics and chipsets. Gelsinger said he expects Intel's engagement with third-party foundries to grow and to include manufacturing for a range of modular tiles on advanced process technologies, including products at the core of Intel's computing offerings for both client and data center segments, beginning in 2023. It's now 2021. Early 2021. Beginning 2023 is 2 years up the road. So we're kicking the can way up the road. That's at least 7 quarters by definition, possibly 8, 9 or even 10 quarters. Building a world-class foundry business, Intel Foundry Services, Intel announced plans to become a major provider of US and Europe-based foundry capacity to serve the incredible global demand for semiconductor manufacturing. True, massive shortage of absolutely everything, as the car manufacturers will tell you, plus anybody who makes anything that runs on chips. No argument there. But this sounds as though Intel is building new fabs to manufacture other people's gear while their own kit has to be manufactured by TSMC. This sounds, on the face of it, awful. To accelerate Intel's IDM 2.0 strategy, Gelsinger announced a significant expansion of Intel's manufacturing capacity, beginning with plans for 2 new fabs in Arizona, located at the company's Ocotillo campus. These fabs will support the increasing requirements of Intel's current products and customers, as well as provide committed capacity for foundry customers. This build-out represents an investment of approximately $20 billion US. And then we have some official quotes from Gelsinger, or rather from Intel's press room for Gelsinger. We are focused on 4 areas to deliver leadership products and digital innovations in the years ahead. 1. Be the leader in every category in which we compete. Epic. 2. Execute flawlessly to our commitments. 10 nanometer, 7 nanometer, Ponte Vecchio, Aurora, 5G, mobile phones, and God knows how many other things. 3. Passionately innovate with boldness and speed. Okay, innovate, fine, boldness and speed if you say so, passionately, whatever. I mean, deliver would be good, wouldn't it? And 4, reignite our culture to attract and motivate the best engineers and technologists on the planet. Intel is a huge company that makes massive amounts of money. They can pay for people. No argument there. Jim Keller leaps to mind, but let's not go there for the moment. Certainly Intel has the resources. If they can interest engineers, I'm sure they can employ engineers. We will also expand our use of third-party foundry capacity across our portfolio to deliver the best products in every category that we participate in. So Intel has to use third-party foundries, TSMC, in order to deliver the best products. That strikes me as a damning admission. 7 nanometer process. Our confidence in 7 nanometer health and competitiveness is accelerating. Okay. I mean, if you start from a standing start, then by definition any progress is better, but that doesn't sound like we are ready to deliver good stuff, does it, with high yields? We've re-architected and simplified our 7 nanometer process flow, increasing our use of EUV by more than 100%. I forget how many stages there are to a processor going through a fab, many, and Intel wasn't using EUV to any great extent, so 100% more steps on EUV, fine. I can't remember what the numbers are. That sounds like it's going from not very many to some. Leveraging our 7nm process, we are advancing the development of lead data center and client CPUs, starting with Meteor Lake, our high volume 2023 client product. In fact, we expect to tape in our 7nm compute tile for Meteor Lake in the second quarter of this year. So Meteor Lake in 2023, a part of it will be 7nm. And I've got some notes here which I got from video cards because they do some absolutely fabulous little updates. So later this year, expecting 12th gen Alder Lake on 10nm with Golden Cove, and that will offer DDR4, DDR5 and LP DDR5 support. Next year, we're expecting 13th gen Raptor Lake, also on 10nm, also with Golden Cove. That will ditch DDR4 and be DDR5 and LP DDR5X. That's a tweak, but that sounds significant. And then in 2023, it sounds like we're looking at 14th gen Meteor Lake on 7nm, and video cards reckons that will have Redwood Cove, which would suggest that Meteor Lake will not be Tock, but that will be Tick and Tock, because they'll be changing both the architecture and also the process. Product roadmap update, we're back to the quotes. We expect that in the third quarter of this year, the majority of our client CPU wafer starts will be on 10nm, including our superfin process. Well, sure, but that's Alder Lake and various laptops. So we expect the same actually, Pat. In 2 weeks, we'll officially launch our new 3rd gen Xeon Scalable processors, or Ice Lake. Well, blimmin' hurrah. How far behind schedule are they at the moment? That's 10nm, by the way. 10nm plus, I believe. We have customers testing Sapphire Rapids now, and will look to reach production around the end of this year, ramping in the first half of 2022. Holy Right, around the end of this year means absolutely nothing. Ramping in the first half of 2022 suggests they'll be actually delivering in volume at the end of 2022. Sapphire Rapids is the 10nm that's supposed to work, so that is even worse than I thought. Intel's 2023 CPU product roadmap includes Meteor Lake for client, Granite Rapids for data center, and they will both have compute tiles built on 7nm. Okay, so 2021, write it off, it's a goner. 2022, yeah, we're kind of getting our ducks in a row. 2023, we're cooking with gas. It's just awful. And I was intrigued to see that for a part of this video, Gelsinger was holding what's apparently a Ponte Vecchio XE HPC graphics chip. I mean, it's a hefty, great big thing. That's the thing that's meant to power the graphics side of the Aurora supercomputer, due at the end of 2021. That is a tiled-based piece of hardware, so chiplets comes to graphics. And that's the route that both AMD and Nvidia are certain to go down in the near future. Aurora due at the end of 2021. Well, okay. Here's the thing with all this. I'll believe it when I see it. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Gelsinger has a solid reputation. His return to Intel is absolutely welcome. But the fact that this was simply laid out in a video, no questions, some highly questionable statements, some vagary, and they're pushing stuff out. Yeah, there'll be some stuff this year, but forget this year. 2022, 2023. Intel's already lost 2 years, 3 years to 10nm. So it's going to be 5 years down the Kazi. If 7nm works, and we've seen zero evidence that 7nm works at all, let alone effectively with any yields, if 7nm works, Intel could indeed get things back on track. But right now, we have no evidence that this is the case, and we've had an awful lot of statements and promises from Intel in the past that turned out to be absolute baloney. So, okay, prove it to us, Intel, because I have no faith that you can deliver.